What is up? It's your boy Hawk, and welcome back to another episode of Hawks Hoops. All-Star Weekend is over. Players had a couple of days off. Basketball started up this past Thursday. I'm currently recording this on Sunday night, not my usual Monday night. There's still plenty of basketball to talk about that happened since Thursday. Thursday night happens, and Trae Young gets this season right back started by dropping 50 on the Miami Heat. I saw a tweet earlier today that said Steph Curry walked so Trae Young could run. And although they were being funny and an exaggeration, it makes perfect sense if you ask me. Trae Young is a perfect example that Steph Curry has changed the way people play basketball. Trae Young, obviously sophomore in the league, so he spent his year in college and some high school years watching the rise of Steph Curry. Steph Curry shooting through the logo. He emulated that. He literally was taking shots during the Miami Heat game with both feet inside of the logo, pulling cash. He's definitely a special talent, and I'm really excited to see where his career goes moving forward. Hopefully Atlanta can continue to build around him. I know they just traded for Clint Capella. It'll be interesting to see what they do when he's inserted into the lineup. Just hope that they continue to build, and we look up in 3 years and Trae Young's asking out of Atlanta. News dropped also on, I believe, Thursday or Friday, that Kyrieirving will be sitting out the rest of the season. He's getting shoulder surgery, so he's out for the rest of the season. In terms of playoff seeding, I'm honestly not too worried. I think Brooklyn will still make the playoffs. But in terms of the overall narrative, I think we could end up in that same territory that Boston was in when people were saying Boston's better without Kyrie. I think you'll start to hear some of that same sentiment moving forward for the rest of the season, that people are saying that the Nets are better without Kyrie. But I think the root of it is, and it happened with both the Nets and the Celtics, that there's just a lot of ball handlers on the court when Kyrie, Dinwiddie, and LeVert are all healthy. When one of those three are out, it kind of makes more sense basketball-wise. There's two ball handlers, there's two shooters on the floor, and there's a rolling big man. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the Nets look better on the court, but that doesn't mean I think that they're better without Kyrie. Continuing out east, I want to just say #free Zach LaVine. If I'm Zach LaVine, honestly, I'm tight. You seeing players like, for example, no shade, Kyle Kuzma being treated as a superstar. You know, he's considered famous. Everyone knows him. But if we going pound for pound, Zach LaVine's way better of a player, but he's won in not a trash market, but because Chicago is a great market when they're winning. They're not winning right now. So he's on a trash team with a trash coach. It was a video that was going crazy. The Bulls were down 10 to the Phoenix Suns. They called a timeout with 30 seconds left. Don't ask me what they were talking about. Just let the game run out. And you literally see Zach after the timeout walking away, shaking his head like, why are we calling a timeout? We're down 10. Zach LaVine on a winning team could be considered an all-star. Like, you could have made an argument for him to make an all-star team this past year. But we all knew he was going to make it because his team was absolutely garbage. Speaking of garbage teams, let's talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to tell you right now, we getting bumped out in either the first or second round. I'm telling you, and we're not going to have home court advantage going into the playoffs, even in the first round. I'll honestly be surprised if we overtake Miami's spot and end up having home court advantage in the first round. But if you ask me, the way it's looking, we're going to end up playing Miami in the first round, whether we're home or away. And truly, I think Miami can beat us in a 7-game series. The Sixers, I've said it 1,000 times, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse. The Sixers are built trash. The composition of that team is horrible. Process is dead. All right, let's take it out west. And starting off, I just want to give you your weekly reminder that if you aren't watching Zion Williamson play basketball, you're doing yourself a disservice. This man is putting up great numbers in his first couple of games in the league. And honestly, from what I've seen, it really looks like there's only one person who can guard him in the league so far. And that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then honestly, it makes perfect sense. He's just as strong. He's bigger than them. He's probably faster. In that game that the Pelicans played against the Bucks, Giannis put on full display why he should also be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. He already won MVP in my book, but he should get a strong consideration for Defensive Player as well. Saturday night, we got to see Harden and Westbrook completely dominate the Jazz, combining for 72 points. And what was so beautiful about this, because this was probably the first time this season that I could think of that both of them had a really good, efficient game. You know, Harden really fell into that slump before All-Star break when he wasn't shooting efficient, and Russ kind of picked it up efficiency-wise. But they seemed to figure it out Saturday night against the Jazz. Hopefully they continue to make it happen throughout the rest of the season, because that was beautiful basketball to watch them two playing well together, hitting shots. And while we're taking a look at the standings out west, let's hope that Damian Lillard gets a speedy recovery. He strained his groin. And while we're looking at the standings out west, let's hope Damian Lillard has a speedy recovery. He only had a groin strain. They said he should only be out about 3 or 4 games. Hopefully that's 3 and not 4, because right now the Blazers are really trying to make a push to get in the playoffs. I would love to see them make the playoffs. I rock with Dame. I think he's a really good player, and I think he's having an amazing season trying to put this team on his back, riddled with all the injuries that they're having, to get into the playoffs. And last but definitely not least, I want to do a little Chris Paul appreciation. I don't think no one expected the Thunder to be this good. I think they'll most likely continue to be a playoff team throughout the rest of the season. I don't expect them to make much noise, but they match up against the right team. They can mess around and beat the Nuggets. You never know. That's all I got for you guys this week. Thanks so much for watching. What are you most looking forward to going into the second half of this season? I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace. And that game that the Pelicans played against the Bucks. Giannis put on full display, honestly, why he should be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. He's already won my MVP, and that game against